You have the throttle pinned, the pavement is a blur, and then the scooter shudders. You hit an invisible wall as power cuts. These abrupt slowdowns are mandatory. Across the European Union and in major cities, regulations cap electric scooters at 15.5 miles per hour to ensure pedestrian safety. But the hardware beneath your feet is capable of much more. A standard 500-watt motor has the torque and RPMs to reach speeds well beyond 25 miles per hour. The machine is effectively caged. Unlocking that trapped potential has triggered a technological arms race between riders seeking power and manufacturers enforcing compliance. The battleground for this conflict is the electronic controller. Hidden underneath the deck, this metal box sits between the battery and the motor, acting as the ultimate gatekeeper for every volt of electricity. This diagram shows the density of the controller's brain. Among the sensors, look closely at the thin blue wires. They form a closed feedback loop. While that circuit remains unbroken, the controller enforces the artificial speed ceiling. Because this restriction is a software command rather than a physical limitation, it can be bypassed if the rider knows exactly where to strike. In the early years of the race, unlocking a scooter meant literal sabotage. On models like the Hover 1 Pioneer, the speed limiter was a physical component. Modifying it required riders to open the deck and break the factory seals, digging through the internal wiring to locate the controller box. The target was that single feedback loop. Depending on the manufacturer, it was usually a pair of thin blue, white, or gray wires plugged into each other. Severing that connection broke the restriction loop. After wrapping the wrought ends in electrical tape to prevent a short, the motor drew maximum power. This physical bypass was effective, but it was crude and permanent. To counter this, manufacturers moved speed limiters out of the wiring harnesses and into the firmware. As dashboards went digital, lines of code replaced physical wires. Brands like Gyroor and Kaabo began hiding speed caps inside secret diagnostic menus known as P settings. Accessing these secret diagnostic menus requires unlisted inputs. Typically, a rider must hold down the mode button within the first 5 seconds of booting the system to bypass the main interface. Inside a matrix of performance parameters, P02 determines the absolute speed limit. Changing this unshackles the motor. Some brands even built in literal cheat codes. Holding both throttles and pressing the power button 10 times unlocks top speed mode. These digital backdoors offered a non-destructive bypass, but they allowed manufacturers to patch vulnerabilities through software updates, leading to the modern firmware war. By 2020, popular models like the Xiaomi M365 were governed by tightly controlled firmware. The simple digital backdoors were completely gone. The community responded by building their own software. Riders used third-party Android apps to intercept the scooter's Bluetooth connection and rewrite the vehicle's brain. Riders beamed custom data to overwrite both the driver controller and battery management systems simultaneously. But in 2024, manufacturers implemented military-grade signing. Using advanced cryptography, the controller now rejects any firmware without an official, factory-authorized signature. The software backdoor is now effectively closed. For the newest models, the only way around this security is to physically replace the entire controller board with an older, unprotected module. The arms race has escalated from snipping a wire to cracking advanced cryptography, as riders continue to pursue unrestricted speed. Once the limiter is bypassed, the machine easily hits 45 kilometers per hour. You get the rush of unrestricted power, but it comes at a physical cost. These motors are not designed to sustain that output. Pushing a 500-watt motor past its thermal limits risks catastrophic overheating and permanent damage to the internal windings. The battery pays a price. 30 miles per hour draws current fast, and this steep discharge rate reduces range by 30%. Most dangerously, stock brakes are engineered for 15 miles per hour. By doubling your speed, you vastly outperform your brakes. Removing the speed limit only deletes a software command. It leaves the physical tolerances of the motor, battery, and brakes exactly where they started. The administrative consequences are immediate. Cut a physical limiter wire or flash custom firmware, and your warranty is permanently voided. Legally, crossing that 15-mile-per-hour threshold reclassifies the scooter as an unregistered motor vehicle in many jurisdictions, exposing you to significant fines. It is a deliberate trade. You are getting up a carefully engineered safety net in exchange for the raw performance of the machine. By bypassing the limiter, you reclaim the machine's potential. but you inherit every mechanical, legal, and physical risk that comes with it. Ride safe.